Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being tuned in right here on the Global Leaders Roundtable podcast. Listen, I am super excited about the discussion that we are getting ready to have. This is the Fireside Chat series. For many of you guys who've been following us, we just got started with this entire process and program that God really called us to do within the name or under the name, the Global Leaders Round Table. We're pulling together leaders from all around the world. That's what we're doing. And we're having the conversations that matter to them and that matter to their industries. But one thing kind of brings us all together, that common thread of these leaders that I am introducing to you at the virtual roundtable. We are all believers. We're all kingdom citizens. Guess what? You can be a believer and still take over your industry. You can be a believer, a kingdom citizen, and still be effective, not just inside the church, but be effective in your sphere of influence. And I wanted to bring some of the who's who from around the world to talk about how they're doing it. And today is no different. As a matter of fact, I've been looking forward to this conversation. I have seen what this young lady has been doing. I've had an opportunity to just be introduced to her, and I am overjoyed to have her because she's doing some phenomenal things. She's going to get ready to come on the virtual stage in just a moment. But for those of you who are watching in, if you are watching this by YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe so that you can know what we're doing and all of the new content that we're going to be dropping on our page. Would you do that for me? By you subscribing, that lets me know that the content that we are offering is valuable and it's helping you. And then after you subscribe, go ahead and share it out to somebody else and let them know about this podcast and let them know about our page so that they can get in on it too. Don't keep a good thing to yourself. We are also going to be live with this particular show on Spotify. So those of you who catch this replay by Spotify, welcome. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Now, today, let's go ahead and bring up our special guest. Now, I'm going to have her talk about all the things she's doing because God has her hand in a lot of different things, but she is a leader of leaders. She's a part of the real estate industry. And I believe that our conversation today is going to be impactful and it's going to be meaningful. Y'all, help me welcome to the virtual roundtable, Lima Maclean. How are you? How are you, ma'am?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. Again, I'll say it again. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I know that right now you are on vacation, and so this is very super special to me, being that we just met. But for you to say yes, and for you to see the value in what I'm doing, thank you so much.
Yes, yes, it's amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come with you.
Thank you. So talk a little bit about. Let's just start this out with kind of introducing yourself to the audience, letting those who may not know you, because you have a massive following already. So many people know you already, but those who may be tuning in who haven't heard of you, what do you do? Who are you? Where are you from? Which part of the country are you in?
So my name is Lima Maclean, and I am on the East Coast, um, New Jersey, Florida. New Jersey is my home base. Florida is my second. And I am. Oh, I think I'm sorry. I thought we were disconnected.
Yep, we're good.
And so Florida is my second home. So I'm a real estate investor. So I have a lot of properties in Florida. So I'm
Okay.
always there.
Okay.
I host a lot of events, in person events, virtual events, real estate investing, and every type of audience. I work with a lot of business owners to strategize events and I work with speakers from all over the globe, helping them to get onto stages as well.
Right.
So I do have a global speaking platform, the Elite Speaker Society, and it's really growing to help bring visibility and exposure for speakers and podcasts, all over the globe.
So this is amazing stuff, y'all. So if you have not, okay, heard of her, go and look up the work that she is doing now with your particular company. I know we're going to get to the real estate piece, but let's kind of dig a little bit deeper in the work that you do with helping, essentially helping voices, make it to the stage and voices get out there. Would you say that this is more management style? Do you manage these people, or are you coaching them? How is that set up?
Actually, that's a great question. It's a little bit of both,
Okay.
managing them and coaching, because some of the individuals are business owners. They're leaders and they've been in business for a while, and now they want to take this next step and, hit the stages, get their voices heard, and really, sell more of their courses
Right.
and gain clientele that way. So, and
Yeah.
then some of them are new. They need stage presence training. They need storytelling, whatever that they need, we offer. We have a whole team of experts that help them with that. So it's a little bit of both.
Wow, wow. So this is, for those of you all who are watching in and you say, I have something that I need to get to the stage. I have something that I need to get, in front of people, but I just don't know how. Uh, you probably need to be looking at connecting with Lima and Elite. You said again, it's Elite.
Yeah, the Elite Speakers Society. So
The Elite.
www.elitespeakerssociety.com. If you go there, you can join the community. You could also book a call with me if you want more information.
Super serious, what she's doing, and I love it. So we will share that link over in the description of this particular video, once it is shared as well. Talk a little bit about how you came to this moment, because you're in real estate as well. You're a real estate investor. I know what that means. My wife and I, we do the same. And so you have been doing this for years, being in real estate and investing.
Yes, yes. I've been in real estate investing for a very long time.
Okay,
And I started out, I didn't, it wasn't something that I started out, doing just, because I loved it. It was a hardship that pushed me into real estate investing.
understood. Yeah.
Um, and at the time, I was a school teacher. My son was having brain surgeries over and over again.
Wow.
He had 40, 50 brain surgeries. I stopped counting. And the Board of Education, they were threatening my job. And I was just praying, to God, asking Him, what can I do? Because I knew I was going to need to be with my son, to get him to where he needs to be. I knew I needed money, and I couldn't stay on that job. They were threatening my job, so I just asked him, what can I do? I need help. Show me what to do." And I kept seeing real estate, real estate, real estate everywhere, real estate investing. And I finally hired a mentor, and I studied everything real estate investing for like 6 months. Going into a year, I did my first deal. My first deal, I messed the deal up.
Okay.
I was supposed to make $5,000. It was a small deal, but I messed it up. I made $2,400. But I knew, I was like, wait a minute, I can do this. So I went to the Board of Education. I quit my job and
Mm.
I went straight into real estate investing, and I've been investing ever since.
Wow, wow, wow. And so this is an answer to someone who may have been asking, can you actually live off of being an investor in real estate? You absolutely can. My wife and I have been trying to tell people this for years, that if you do it right, I like what you said. You said you went and got a mentor.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You got someone who already had skin in the game. That's what we call it, skin in the game. They had the experience, and then you went to work after that. You know,
yeah.
To that end, you said you messed up the first deal. What would be um, what would be the messiest deal you think that you've had to date? And if you are able to share, what type of deal was it?
Well, that was really the messiest, but
Okay,
well, one of
okay,
the messiest, but it was just actually across the street from my parents' house.
okay.
It was a house for sale listed on the market with an agent, and I approached the agent. I was so new at the time,
Right.
but they didn't know, and I was like, I have to do this. I was just thinking to myself, I have to do it. I approached the agent. I got the property under contract. I found the buyer, but what happened is I miscalculated the repair cost, and
Mm,
and a lot of other things. So it ended up where some extra repairs needed to be done, and so that had to come out of my cut. So
wow.
in essence, it was like a wholesale deal. So, and
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, that's fine. Once that happened, it was just like, okay, I can do this. I'll just have to do it messy and just keep going
Yeah.
as time goes on. And I just put my head down that year. And, within a year, I had two offices, with, whole team.
Mhm.
It was just amazing, it's just like riding a bike. Once you learn this stuff, it sticks with you. So
Yeah,
I
for sure.
just built everything up within that year, and it was amazing. And I did that uh, just trusting God because I left my job. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. And it took, you said you put your head down and you really was on the grind for a year. Would you say it took an entire year to really see it kind of boom, or did it take a little bit longer, to really see things turn around? How was that? And the only reason I ask that is because, as leaders in our industry, sometimes we make it look so good,
hmm
and it's good and it is. And the glory behind it is phenomenal, but sometimes, there's those waiting periods and those times where it looks like it's getting a little close and things aren't really working out the way I thought. So did you have some of those moments?
Not at that time because I had to make money first of all.
Yeah,
I didn't have any other options. I wasn't going back to work.
yeah,
So I had to make this work, and this is what I was focusing on. So I didn't have anything else to do. Most people, I find that when they start investing in real estate, they're working on a job or they have other stuff that they're working on. But
right.
this is all I had. So I was able to really, get a lot done in a short period of time. So I was closing deals every week.
Wow.
And I was doing this at first, by myself, and then I started to even build up a team, and that's when I needed to get into an office. So I would say it happened pretty fast, but that's not common, but it was for me at the time because
Yeah.
I was under a lot of pressure with my son. I had to get the stuff set up for him. I knew that I had to make this happen and make it work.
Mhm.
So I didn't see anything else. I kept my eyes on God, and I kept my eyes on this real estate investing, and that's what brought me through. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I was under a lot of pressure. Yeah,
So, and that's what I'm hearing. It's like it was pressure that produced the power, right?
exactly.
It was pressure that really pushed you forward. And so a lot of times, we get a little anxious, or we get a little frustrated or outdone with the pressure of life. But
hmm
sometimes, I always say it this way: God allows it so
hmm
that it can push us into the places and the spaces that we need to be, and that we would have never gone into or
Yep.
thought about had the pressure not been on us.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
what's the biggest myth that you would say is out there about getting into real estate investment right now?
I would say the biggest myth is that you need a lot of money. You
Okay.
have
Yep.
to have a whole lot of money. You have to have great credit. All of that. Those myth. That's myth after myth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of times, my wife always says it like this: if you don't do the research or don't do the asking, you'll never know that some things are easier than you thought. Right?
Exactly.
Because sometimes the mind will tell you, it'll have you somewhere alone thinking, I can't do that. I can't get into that, or whatever, or that's not what I'm called to, when it absolutely is something that you could conquer if you just take the time, right? To do the
Yes.
research, understand it. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes. Yes, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. What are you utilizing right now that would be considered kingdom principles to build your wealth the way that you're building it right now through real estate investment?
Well, I mean, as far as kingdom principles, I mean, God said, that, He gives us the power to get wealth.
Yeah.
So I'm always, making sure that I'm walking in that power. That's just my way of being, because I know that God gave me that, and also to continuing education and partnerships.
Mm,
Um, is also what I do as far as kingdom building, and getting into real estate investing. Uh, I'm sorry, getting into real estate deals, different deals, and I do deals all over the country. So
mhm,
those are some of the, kingdom principles that I use is partnerships.
mhm,
I can't speak enough about it. It's really changed the whole trajectory of my business. Is a lot of people, they like to um, lone wolf and just, but it doesn't really help you push forward and scale the way that you really want to, do when you're doing everything alone. So, yeah,
yeah.
massive
Partnership is a
partnerships.
big deal.
When you're in agreement,
Yeah.
it changes everything, and you get to do a lot more when you're in agreement. So,
Mhm.
that's one of the main principles that I use in business. Is getting into agreement. Of course, it has to be the right, you know,
Of course.
individuals, but getting into agreement, there's so much power behind that, and it just changes the whole, space. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
You are you're in two different spaces,
Mhm.
two different worlds right now, with real estate investing, but then you have this entire, um, I guess the way I interpret it, you have this entire speaker bureau management, you know, business that's booming. How do you balance it? How do you trek in both worlds and be effective?
That's awesome. I'm happy that you brought that up. I have a virtual assistance agency, so I have virtual assistants that help me with everything.
Wow.
I've always had assistants with real estate investing, so I have an acquisitions team, a dispositions team. The same thing with speaking. I have a whole team that when we're putting events together, they handle. I have a team that will get all the speakers together, the whole tech team, whole marketing team. So everything I have helped. So without that, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it sounds like you're leveraging teams, but that goes back to the idea of partnership too,
Yeah.
because you're bringing people onto your team, partnering with them, leveraging their expertise, their manpower, their abilities,
Hmm.
in order to further advance what God has given you.
Exactly.
It's
Yep.
called being a good steward. That's what I say.
Yep. Exactly.
I so love this. Okay, a few more thoughts here. Let's kind of go back over to the speaker side. Is it just speakers that are in the real estate space, or is it speakers that come from multiple different industries that you work with, that you manage, coach, all of that?
Yeah, there's speakers in every industry, everything that you can think of. Like I've done like so many different events, like that are outside of real estate investing, and which is actually awesome. I get to meet so many wonderful people
Right.
and learn about so many different things. I just did an event with a lady on hair loss. She
Mhm.
owns a clinic, for hair loss, and
Mhm.
I didn't know that that was an epic, thing, like for it's women especially. I was just like, wow. So it was just wonderful doing that event and helping her put that together. And through hosting these events, I also have signature events that I, do once or twice a year. I just have my Global Women in Leadership. I have Global Men in Leadership.
Wow.
I have my Christian Businesses on Fire for God event that we host, and a bunch of other events so that are signature. So, yeah, that's and we have events literally this year scheduled all the way out through 2025, going over
Wow.
into 2026. So,
Wow.
yeah,
I mean, it's amazing what I'm hearing that you're able to do, with courage, with obedience to God, right?
yeah, yeah.
Him allowing him to push you into the places and spaces, that you're in, but not trying to be the only one to manage this. Like
Mm-hmm.
understanding, partnership, understanding putting teams in place and things like that to make sure that you're a faithful steward over what God has given you. With those individuals who might be listening in, can you talk to them a little bit about how to organize it all? Because I know sometimes with leaders, you've got multiple things being thrown at you at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how imperative is it to have organization, in what you do? And what can you say to them to encourage them to really hone in on getting things in the proper places in order for success and effectiveness to happen for them?
Yeah, I can't even really talk enough about that, having everything in place,
Yeah,
because once you do, it's like everything is just easy flowing,
yeah,
like even like I close, real estate deals even when I'm not around, because of the system in place, because of the team that's being built, um, you know, continuously, with whatever projects that I'm working on. And the same thing with the events. Having a team, whether I'm like right now I'm on vacation, but
right,
I have events scheduled, a huge event scheduled in June, but it's still everything's still happening while I'm not there. So
right,
having the plan laid out, whatever the outcome, whatever that end result is, you want to start from there.
yeah,
So you want to have the end in mind and then build it from there. So I build a team, like I said, for the events. I have some individuals that are getting the speakers together,
right,
and whoever's handling the tech stuff, they're building the landing pages, they're doing the email automation, all of that. And then they're preparing the graphics and everything for the marketing people, and then it goes to the marketing side, and
right,
then the marketing individuals are taking it and really getting it out there. So um, you know with everyone, they already know what their job duties are, they get them done, everything's written down, and
right.
then we just go from there. So it's really important. Yeah.
Really important. I bet, especially with leading what you're leading. Um, Here is a thought that I had, um, coming into this discussion, knowing what work you do. Um, I've been a leader for I don't know how many years at this point. And like we talked about off screen before we came live, um, I've been in the corporate space, ministry space, the entrepreneurial space. So, and leadership kind of looks different. It has its similarities, but it looks different from industry to industry. Um, what would you say to a person like me who's multi hyphenate, right? Who has all of these different type of things going on? What are some of the other things that you would say to them, in order to be effective? I know the organization, like you said, making sure
Hmm.
you have the teams. Is there anything else that we should be thinking about, especially in this day and time, with the technologies and all of this stuff that we have our you know disposal to? What should we be focused on to make sure that we're effective?
Well, one of the things I can say that I'm focused on is always continuing education. So
Yeah,
I'm always, under um, mentorship in some type of way. Whatever it is that you're doing, you want to continue the education, continue growing, You want to continue to study to show yourself approved. Like that's very important. So that's one of the things that I want to say is because I know a lot of business owners, they're still operating under like old, outdated ways, of running things,
Hmm.
and things are changing so fast.
Yeah.
So you really have to keep up. So even though I have a team of people, I'm continuing to educate myself in every way, possible, and always going into programs. I
Mhm.
hire people that are definitely smarter than me.
Yeah.
So that's something that I definitely do. So that's what I would say is continuing education and working with people that know a lot more than what you know. So
Right.
that's what I
For
do.
sure. So how can people connect with you and what you're doing? Because you're training speakers, you're showing them how to get to stages. I mean, you're managing them. You are, mentoring real estate, up and coming real estate investors and all of that.
Hmm.
So what are ways that they can connect with you? I know that you mentioned your website earlier, but
Hmm.
kind of give them where they could go for assistance from you and your team.
Yes, Facebook is a great place to find me.
Mhm.
Go to my profile, Lima Maclean, on Facebook. And you can always DM me. You can book a call with me. There's links there where you can book a call with me.
Yeah.
Go to www.elitespeakersociety.com. Join that group. I'm always in there. There's so much opportunity there, and that space was created for any individuals that are interested and getting exposures for their businesses to get onto stages. It doesn't matter where you are. If you want to write a book, publish a book, whatever it is that you want to do that God is laying on your heart, it's time to do it. There's no need to wait. So you can reach me there. So I'm always, online. You can go in LinkedIn, and check me out there. I just started my LinkedIn journey, but you can definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. I started online literally, I guess a little over 2 years ago.
Okay.
um, and I didn't want to do that. I know that that was something that God wanted me to do. And so I took my real estate mentorship program online. Now I work with students from all over the globe, teaching them real estate strategies and helping them to build portfolios. And same thing with speaking. So I'm happy, that I'm here. I get to meet wonderful people like you and, everyone else in Lightspeed now. So definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn or Facebook, and then we can definitely talk.
Lima, I am super excited you took the time to just kind of sit with me for a moment. For a fireside chat. I think this was phenomenal, and some of the strategies that you shared today, I think our listeners can go and really glean from it, dig deeper, and research some of the things you said. And if nothing else, they need to be connected with you and your teams and what you guys are doing. One thing you said before I let you go, you said God brought you to the platform or to the social media platform 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I think your group has grown. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's grown to like almost 8,000 people. Is that correct
Yes,
on Facebook?
8,000. Yeah, I started it like I guess like 9, 10 months ago, and there's 8,000 people in there. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Amazing, guys. So, and I needed to bring that up just to show the type of favor that's on her life, and just to show the strategies that she's using. Something is going right over there in the camp where Ms. Lima is leading and heading. So you guys got to connect with her if you're ready for your next level. And I received that prophetic word you gave me before we came on live too. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next. So, for those of you listen who follow us, thank you so much for tuning into this conversation, this fireside chat. Um, we are live every Sunday with a live recording at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So catch us for the next live. And meanwhile, make sure you binge watch all of my fireside chats and what we've got going on. We've got leaders from all over the world talking about things that matter. I'm telling you. And I guarantee you, you'll learn something from sitting at the table with us. Um, I pray that your businesses, your corporations, your ministries, everything that you represent would flourish in a way that will blow your mind. Thank you so much, Lima, for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we will talk soon, guys. See you soon.